Alright, so I wanted to come on here and talk about my experience from Nationals 2024. Going in, just for history logging, I am 23 and I weighed in at 242 on the dot, pretty much. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So this is my first time ever going to Nationals. It was like, okay, it's going to be a crazy experience, and you hear stuff from people, but until you actually go there and experience it yourself, it's almost different for everybody. I would say that I was probably middle of the road in my experience. Like, I hear stuff, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Anyways, so we were told to meet at this place at weigh-in start at 9 a.m. You can come early at 8. So we, of course, we were there like probably a little bit after late, and man, there was already hundreds of people out. I think total that day was 455 that came to show, but obviously like 600 signed up, and you know that odd number dropped out. So we get in line and we have no clue. We never really went into the building besides check-in. So that morning, about 5:30 a.m., I was in the sauna cutting weight. I walked into the sauna weighing like 249 according to the triple beam, and after about an hour sitting in the sauna and some time in the steam room chilling, I was able to get down to 242. I was able to cut all that water weight, which I've done before. This is probably the most drastic one I've had, to where you get to that last end and you just can't really sweat out much more weight. So I left the place weighing 242 on the triple beam, knowing like at 7 o'clock that I had a few hours of spitting, that I would definitely lose another pound. So we get to check-ins and we sat in that line, man, forever, and we had one of our guys like, man, I want to see how far this goes, because it was like a whole like arena. It's called the National Western Complex, and it was massive. So we just get inside and there's a whole like like a half a track basically to walk around, and they had 2 people doing check-ins, and then you went to another line, which is what pissed us off, to get in the weigh-ins, because you're pissed off, man. You just cut all your weight, you have had no food, no water, you're cutting, everybody's just pissed. Which, by the way, is going to be my last time ever cutting. I'm tired of that shit. So, basically, we got up to check in, checked ourselves in, we went into the weigh-in line, and they were taking, a couple at a time. You go behind a curtain, and I thought they were going to have a different scale, because I went to one where they have a very legit scale. Well, this was not. This was just regular concrete, as you can see in the video, exactly how it looks, and we just stepped on, like, a Walgreens scale. So, I weighed 242.7. and or 242.6, something like that, and he was like, oh man, you're 0.3 over, looks like we're about to move you up to the next weight class. And at that point I'm fuming, because I'm like, dude, I seriously am mad about the scale problem. And I was like, listen man, if you want, I will go force vomit in that trash can right now to give you that 0.3, but I'm not moving up a weight class because of 0.3 of a pound. You don't have like a scale tolerance or whatever, which, like I said, it's my fault for not being even more underweight to give myself that, that gap. But in my head, I'm like, dude, I told him, I said, man, I left at 242 on the dot at a triple beam at a YMCA, and I come here to a scale I can buy for $20 and just slap on some concrete and see what happens. Like, it's not that accurate. For Nationals, to me, it should be very accurate, in my opinion, but I'm also not running it. If I'm going to say stuff about it, I should sign up and help, but I didn't, so I can't really say much about it. So he had this idea, and he's like, well, let me go get this other guy. And the other guy comes up, and he's like, all right, man, are you down to do anything? I said, dude, I'll throw up. Like, I'm down to do whatever you want. I said, if you want, I'll throw it up. And he was like, well, stand on top of your head for 30 seconds, and then it'll trick the scales. So I did it, and it tricked the scales, and it put me in weight by 0.1. But I'm like, that was kind of just pointless, because, I mean, you and I both know that my weight didn't change. All I did was trick the scale, and I was like, all right, whatever. So that already kind of had me upset, but I just went off of it, and I was like, all right, it's time to really focus now. So we go to our Airbnb, and we just lay in the pool, and we just chill. I mean, that's all you want to do. You're eating a ton of stuff. Like, I was slamming deli meat, bread. I can't remember really, man. I just started eating anything inside. We had some eggs, pancakes, stuff like that. And so now it is Saturday morning. We're all ready, and we get there, and it doesn't show, I don't think, in this little stream they have. But in the back, they have a whole entire warm-up area. And it's the same as where we checked in and weighed in. So it was very big, plenty of room. I really enjoyed it. And, I'm just kind of like taken back, because there's so many people already lifting stuff, and it is just like pure chaos back there. my mind is just going brrr, like it just cannot focus. So I get all my gear on. I stretch. I didn't see anybody else stretch, which blew my mind. You know, I'm sure I didn't see anybody, but like I didn't see anybody stretching. Everybody's like, dude, you gotta get on, you gotta get on. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean gotta get on? And before I even touch the dumbbell, they're already pulling my group up to do dumbbell. So I was like, man, I've got to stretch and do a couple reps. So I did my stretch. I got all my sleeves on. I grabbed the quickest one I could get to. It was 118. And I just did a few cleans, walked away for a second, and then I went back in and did a few reps. So I felt pretty good about it. Everything felt strong. I just didn't want to tire myself, but I wanted to get to that point where I could focus on getting that elbow in and having it sit comfortably and control it. A lot of times what I'll do is if I get it up there, I need to sit there for a minute and try and get it real controlled, and then once I feel it like steady and it's not moving, boom, then I'll rep it. So I was really hoping with pulling this up I would find the actual video of me doing it, but I can't find my lane in here because I'm kind of like, let's see, over in this section I believe. Let's see, that's Andrea Long. I can't find which way they have it oriented. I think I'm all the way over here, which I would think would be right here, but that's Aaron Murray, so I'm not on this side. I would have to have been like over in this area, and it wasn't this guy. I think it was like down some, but whatever. I have the video posted somewhere on. I just posted the dumbbell one. So I'm feeling good. I got my belt and everything, and I get up there, and I've never attempted a 200 dumbbell at all. I did like a 170 before, but that was it. So I get up there, and I knew I could clean it, but the press, or at least catching it, is what I was worried about, because I'm not a very static strength guy, which is what I'm going to work on, getting some of that. I'm very quick pop catch, and it works for a bit, but going forward, I'm going to work on it. So anyways, I get it up to my shoulder, and I'm waiting, and it doesn't feel that crazy, and just first one didn't go as high, I didn't give it as much, and it kind of went out. I started doing this part where I started going away from it. I drop it, and the second rep, I get it up there, and it was just a failed lockout. I was too far away for one, but I think I was probably like that. Like, I slowed it down and looked at it, and I was so mad at myself because had I got one rep, it would have gave me so many points that I wouldn't even have to finish competing. I could have just stopped there, and I would have been like top 20. I mean, it was only like a handful of guys got that dumbbell. Same thing with the stone, apparently, but we'll get to that. So I was still pretty proud of myself on the dumbbell because going in, I really just came here for experience. I wanted to see it. I didn't care about winning. I didn't care about getting last place at all. I really could care less. I just wanted to go there. I wanted to go to Colorado more than I wanted to do nationals. Obviously, I'm super young. I'm super small compared to these guys. I don't have the strength. I just wanted to go purely to go to Colorado and get nationals experience, and then check both boxes for me, so I was pretty happy. So next event was the yoke walk. This was a nightmare for warm-up. By the time I get done with dumbbell and I wrap around to the warm-up section, there's already a line of like 100 people in each yoke. I'm like, bro, you've got to be kidding me. So I'm waiting in line, and no clue what the weight of the yoke is that these guys are doing. I hear plates moving, and I see them. No clue what it weighs. And these guys come back, 242, you need to get out there, you need to get out there. Like, scream this, get out there. Like, yeah, I get you want to get it going, but I think it's a little harder to do when you don't have enough equipment to go around to take care of everybody. Like, I get you can't spend $1 million on equipment, but there needs to be some organization, in my opinion, of, okay, these guys are set up to go first. They need to be the ones warming up, you know, or have separate warm-up sections set for separate classes. I mean, if you got 12 lanes, can you get 12 sets of everything? Because, I mean, you have it out here. Can you get it out back? And it was very expensive. I get that, so I don't know too much about that part. But, so me and these 2-3 other dudes, man, we were just like, hey, can we skip you guys? Because we got to go. And we get up there, and I was like, what's the way? He's like, oh, like 750. We don't know. I'm like, bro, you got to be kidding me. So I warmed up on 750. I took a few steps forward, a few steps backwards, and just held it. And it felt all right, but in my head, I'm like, dude, my legs are cold. Nothing's ready. And I was just like, all right, let's just go get this part over with, I guess. So I get up there, and by the way, you don't just walk right up. You have to wait for all the other guys in your class to go. And since I was the bottom, I would wait forever. But they kept saying, if you are not there when we call your name 3 times, you're out. Like, they just completely zeroed for the event. So I wanted to be there at least. And it was funny because I talked to one of my teammates prior, and our yoke, we're about the same height, and he usually puts his yoke higher than mine. Well, my number, when we got it numbered, was higher than his. So something wasn't adding up there, and sure enough, when I got up there, it was definitely lower than I wanted it to be. But I was also in the mindset of just fucking pick it up. I really didn't care, so I wasn't going to say nothing about it, which, looking back, I probably should have if I wanted a fighting chance at, breaking the top half, but I didn't. So, failed that. I couldn't even get off the ground. It was like a half squat. 850. I picked it up and walked it a few steps before, but like I said, I probably should have raised the height up a little bit because I was just too low to get anything to move. And as I was pushing on it, I felt my T1 pop, which seems to be pretty consistent for me. Not pop in a bad way, but you can kind of feel it shift out of alignment, which happens all the time when doing this, when you get that really heavy weights. So after that, I went to the dude, and I noticed, I started having these, weird ab pains. I noticed them a few days before, but I just kind of noticed it. I'm like, oh, that's weird. We'll stretch, keep stretching it, make sure nothing's good, because at first I thought it was just a tight abdomen from sitting, prolonged sitting, but I've been stretching and rolling out for a few days, and it was down a little bit, but in my head I was worried it was going to come back because I don't know what it was. I didn't have enough time to go get it looked at. It happened literally a day or two before I left, and I just thought it was something that would just pass on. So next up we had was deadlift. So now I'm like, bro, I don't have a shot at this if I can't get warmed up at all. You're freezing cold, you're walking through. You don't. It's just one of those things, man, where you just got to go for it and just see what happens, which is pretty dangerous in my opinion. But I get my suit on, and I'm warming up, and I feel it. I do my first pull 315, and as soon as I whipped off the ground, that pushback right there, that little hip thrust, I felt something sharp. I'm like, man, what is that? I put my suit on, I put my belt on, and it seems to help a little bit. And man, I walk up to 655, and I just had nothing for it. There was no way I was pulling that. And it's crazy, man, because I talked to a lot of dudes, and a lot of people didn't even get it. A lot of people barely even got the yoke. So I don't know. I wouldn't say I felt better, but I did a little bit, knowing that even though I'm not 100%, I'm not crazy far from these guys at my age and experience. Still really new, honestly, in the sport compared to those guys. I give props to them because they work their ass off just as much as me, and they've had way more time in than I have, so they want it bad. They're hungry for it, which I am too, just not right now. I'm trying to focus and further myself before I start looking for the big shows, so this is probably the last Nationals for a few years. But yeah, so the deadlift, I felt it after that. As soon as I took everything off, I felt it. I was like, all right, something ain't right. So of course the coaches were super cool. Or the judges were super cool. I was talking to them for a little bit, and I just told them, I said, hey man, I'm just here for the experience. I want to get my first one in under my belt. I'm not really coming here looking to win, just looking to set some PRs for myself, which, like I said, that dumbbell was definitely a PR for me, even though I didn't fully get it. I cleaned it, and I halfway pressed it, and I just missed lockout on the second rep, so I'm pretty astounded about that. Obviously, I never deadlift 650. The yoke walk I'm pretty disappointed in because I at least wanted to get it, 5-10 feet, but I just didn't have it that day. So leading on next, we have the sandbag to shoulder, and then once it's shouldered and cleared, you have to walk 25 feet and throw it over a yoke. And sandbags have my number. They are the worst event for me. It is something I'm really going to try to work on, and I haven't quite figured out my groove for it yet, like some of my other lifts. But regardless, I'll see if they have it. I'll see if I can find it anywhere. So this was kind of the yoke walk. Oh, that's too loud. Let's see. What is that guy doing? He laughing or is he hurt? Oh, skipped it. Alright, so basically what's going to happen here is, let me find a good example, but I don't understand these camera angles. So yeah, so right here is your sandbags or whatever. They're going to be placed out here. You'll pick one up, shoulder it, walk it, throw it over. Here's the thing though, mine were pretty heavy. It was 275, 300, 325. and I was pretty confident, like in the 275. But after that, I was like, I don't know. And honestly, watching all the other dudes, some of them either didn't even break the sandbag off the ground, or they didn't shoulder it, or they didn't make it all the way, throw it over off the first one. I don't think nobody I saw got the third sandbag. I'm pretty sure everybody saw get the first one, get the second one, that third one they just said nope. So I was very happy. The fact that I wish I could pull the video up and show you, but I shouldered that 275 fairly quick. And for those that train me know that I am terrible at shouldering sandbag. It is something I'm 100% going to work on, but I was able just to plop it up there. But as soon as I got that last little like jump into it, I just felt it again. And it's something in my abdominal wall, man. As soon as I start trying to overextend it, it feels like something's ripped or something's going on. I'm not 100% sure on it. It's going to get looked at very soon, but yeah, after that hurt, I was like, man, it's not worth it. And I just dropped it. And I told the judges, I appreciate everything they did for me, that I won't be doing the Atlas stones, mostly because I have the pain when I bend over and there's any kind of twist movement. So it's pretty safe to say that Atlas stone is going to be the one where I'm going to need the most core strength, because I don't wear a belt when I do Atlas stones to begin with. So not only am I going to have to bend over, pick up a 385 stone and lap it, but then from there I got to keep reaching over, get it tucked in, and then you're going up, and it's straight. It's just straight abs right there at that point. It's sitting on your abs. So after that, I went to the dude at the recovery team, and I was like, listen, man, like I don't know what's going on, but something hurts. I'm not sure what it is. And he's feeling it out. And it's not necessarily when I'm bracing. Like they kept thinking it hurt when I braced, but it's just random times, and it's in a certain area. It's repetitive, so it's super hard for them to figure out on the spot, especially since they have so many dudes they're working through. I mean, like I said, there's 450 something competitors, so I definitely wasn't the only one hurt. I mean, there was a whole bunch of people got hurt after the first and second one. A whole bunch was knocked out, and some were even in my class. But he said something about a strained abdominal wall or a possible small hernia, so we're not 100% sure on that. I didn't 100% want to have them do anything to me, so he just taped me up and I left, because I would rather have somebody I know and trust that has worked on my body a lot, that knows what certain things may seem out to them, look at and see what they think. So that was it with that. Other than that, I just sat in the back, cleaned up my stuff, and just tried to relax a little bit, because it was just a lot of stress. I'm obviously not happy about how I performed at all. I wanted to, get one rep of everything was my goal going in. So to obviously leave with nothing was very upsetting for me. But I just got to remember that, I want first place just as bad as the next guy in there. I just got to remember that I need to pace myself. I think if I start overdoing too much, I won't make it as far, if that makes sense. Like my whole goal is to win national and go to worlds. I want to do that kind of stuff. So if I would have sat there and just exerted everything on that stone and possibly hurt something worse, I would be very upset at that point, because then that just hinders me. And right now I feel decently well, but I'm still taking the rest of the week off just to recoup, relax, and get the abdominal wall checked out and see what's going on there before I get back into training. Because going into training, I'm going to start working on the static strength more, and I'm going to work on strengthening up my core more. So those are two big keys I'm really going to need. My lower body's pretty strong, but my upper body's where I'm definitely noticing a struggle. So I think with that and some core stuff, I think we'll definitely go further. So that's basically what's next for me. I don't have any comps in mind. I might do a few local comps, nothing serious. I'm definitely not going to be cutting to 242 anytime soon, at least. I would really like to take my base I have and build. I wouldn't mind going to the 275 at underclass. I just don't. This cut was already hard enough. I could obviously have done better on the cut portion, but I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where I wonder how much strength I lose, because I was walking around about 257, 259, and I cut to 242. So how my strength difference, I was definitely stronger at that 260. So that makes me wonder, like, okay, if I just stayed up there, with the weights with being the same, and I don't know why I decided to even do that. I should have just went for the 275 class, but I thought if I went 242, it gave me a better option. However, I noticed that at 242, all the guys are like a head shorter than me, and they're complete just houses. So it didn't work out as well as I thought it would. And the 275 is usually guys walking around 290 and less. So I'm kind of in a pickle right now where it's like I'm just too weak. I'm too weak to beat out the smaller, juice heads, but I'm also too small and too weak to beat out the 290 people that walk around. So I'm like in a between class right now. So it's not something I enjoy, because it's like, what do you do? Do you cut? And maybe a slim fighting chance, or do you just stay at your weight and slim fighting chance? It's just a lot of pickles right now I'm in. But we will be moving the unit. It will be going to a house and a garage, so it will no longer be the unit, which is pretty sad. Might do some occasional stuff in the unit still. Some of my equipment's going to be there, but most of it's getting moved to the house, and that's why I'll be doing my videos from there. So that's sad. Obviously, that's moving on from a different spot. But I'm trying to think, man. I think that's it. Nationals was a good time overall. I went to Colorado and got to see a bunch of mountains and stuff, and experienced some new food places, which is all I really cared about. Had Blue Pan Pizza done from Dave Portnoy, rated a 7.9. It was very good. It was probably like an 8.5 for me, because obviously Lancaster, Ohio isn't the best in pizza, especially Detroit style. But I don't know, man. I really thought it was a good time. I didn't have too many problems. We got out of there super early for starting at 9 o'clock. I want to say we left before 4. I mean, it was that quick, which was astounding, because some of my comps, I'd get there at 8, and we wouldn't be out there till 5 or 6. So these guys really did good. I'm not hating on them at all with anything. I mean, everybody's going to complain about something. That was just what I complained about, was warm-ups. But I understand it. It's hard, man. You can't have a shit ton of equipment for 500-600 guys. So can't really do nothing about it. Yeah, I thought it was a good time. Got a shirt, got a little goodie bag, got some little stuff. It was pretty cool. Had a good time. It's definitely worth the money. Next year's events, I'm not too big of a fan of, and it's nowhere I really care to go. It was like Charlotte, North Carolina, or something like that. So I don't care about going over there. None of the events were anything I was interested in. So I would rather just take that time off, save up money, and then start redoing my training, figuring my stuff out, get my deadlift form fixed. That's a big one. I would love to be able to crack 650 end of the year. That's kind of my goal. I think we'll get there. And then I want to start working on my overhead press a little bit again. I need to get back to log. I haven't done log in forever. It's been only axle, barbell, and dumbbell, because I just wanted to vary every week, and I wanted to be in that same catch motion. Log, I can do that, but I don't really like it. Log's a little difficult to kind of do the split jerk stuff that I do on, so I want to work on the push jerk anyways, because I believe if I do one comp, there's one in Kentucky, I think it's got a Viking press or something, so I definitely want to have that split jerk as a tool, which I think I've done really good at it in the time I've been training it. But now that I've only been doing split jerking, I need to switch back to push press a little bit and get my push press back up. I want to be able to do both. Obviously, one's going to be more superior depending on whatever event I'm doing, but it's never a bad thing to have more than one tool in your inventory. So that was it. It was a good time, like I said. I don't think it was a negative experience at all. A lot of people are like, "Why would you go and probably zero everything?" But there's everybody zeroed something. I mean, if not, you won. Like, that's basically all it was. Like, some dudes that are just definitely crazy stronger than me were still zeroing, so I was not disappointed at all. Obviously, you go there and it's to be the strongest, so the weights aren't anything a random strongman could do, or even a random person. So you definitely got to train for it and know what you're doing. And the fact that I walked out of there with just hopefully a strained abdominal wall is pretty good, because I saw some people go out there that wish that's what they had. They had some worse injuries. And not to mention, the next day I could go hiking. So I felt awesome about that. Obviously, if I would have been 100% and probably killed myself on the stone and stuff like that, yeah, I'd probably be a little hurting, but I really didn't feel too bad. So that was all I cared about. I just wanted to go to Colorado. Nationals was just a little side thing I got to do that was pretty fun. Put some down experience, man. That's like the big thing. I saw Dave Tate. I was watching one of his little podcasts he does, and he talked about it. He was like, even if you're not ready, just go do it. I mean, what's the worst that happens? You you spend like $120 to enter and you don't win, which I mean he's not wrong. I mean, why would I have been like, oh man, I can't kill those weights or win? Why would I not go? I don't know. Some people say that they're like, if you're not going to win, why even go? Well, I mean, you're going to go there in hopes to win and give it everything you got, but at the end of the day, I've now gone to nationals. I mean, how many people can say they've gone and done that stuff? So obviously I'm going to go there and say, yeah, but I tied like 5 ways for last place. There's like 5 other dudes that had less than like 3 points, which is stupid. It's just, you might as well just be 0 as well. You're right there, because I think all I had to do was shoulder. If he would have called the shoulder on the sandbag, if I would have put the shoulder, or how was it? Not the shoulder sandbag. If I would have put the sandbag over the yoke, I would have got a point, or whatever point, because people zeroed it, and same to the dumbbell. So all I had to do really was 1 dumbbell rep and 1 sandbag rep. And I would have been way up, not up there, but I definitely would have broke past the first like 7 or 8 guys at the very end easily. So I don't know. I don't feel bad about going. I don't have any negative feelings about it. I don't feel any type of way beside it. I mean, I went there and just gave it what I had, and that's all I could do. Obviously, I'm 23 and still natural, so there's a lot more experience and growth to go. So why not get this out of the way first and not beat myself up too much about it, but instead just start looking at it, okay, what went wrong and what can I change? Obviously, I know going forward that nationals you can expect 0 warm-up, so you definitely need to prepare for that. Find ways to warm up. Like I had a band I was stretching with. Yoke walk I really couldn't have done anything with. I saw some guys squatting. So there's some things that you need to realize going forward that you're going to have to separate from that pack, and you're going to have to figure out how to warm up to get ready for it, man. And not only that, but you're going to have to hype yourself up, because halftime you don't even see your teammates, you don't see anybody. It's just you. It's you and random people. So, I made a lot of friends, met a lot of cool people. They were all really cool to me, but it's not the same. Find your guy that warms you up and gets you ready. I had some guys put my deadlift suit on, and they were cool, but I didn't know them or anything. I just went up to some random dudes like, hey man, you want to strap me up? So it was a good time. I enjoyed it. So that's all I wanted to get on here and say. I'll be posting some videos from Colorado, pressing some rocks and stuff, and just all the good times we had. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching.